Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it's so good to be back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
30-something years. Yeah.
They get a shot with what? 2 seconds left, 2.5 seconds left.
4 seconds left in overtime. They didn't even miss a shot in overtime.
Oh my God!
And they go home.
Ouch, babe.
Yeah.
Ouch, babe. That's a tough one to swallow. But that March Madness.
Yes.
So the end of the games are cool, but I just can't watch Furman versus
the Chattanooga Mocs, the Tennessee Chattanooga Mocs.
Just not floating my boat. But we got Lightning hockey tonight, so I'll be. But it's a good time I'm catching up on the Man in the Arena, all these other kind of shows.
Good.
It's cool. Yeah.
Good. Now you're learning about your boy Tom. I'm
not really a recorded show kind of guy. I'm like, because being in the news business and sports business all my life, I almost get anxious when I'm not watching live TV. Like I don't know what's going on. That is honestly not mentally healthy whatsoever. It is not. So I do have to kind of like, okay, I can do this. I'm doing. I'll be able to watch something that's been recorded for a little while, but it's all good. All right, we got a good show for you today. Speaking of topical stuff, the franchise tag today is going up at 4:00. Will Chris Godwin get a long-term deal done, allowing the Buccaneers to franchise Carlton Davis III, or will they not get one done and have to franchise their key offensive player? Tune in at 4:00 to see if he signs the deal. Imagine this. You're sitting there. You're Chris Godwin. You're sitting there with a torn ACL. Well, it's probably partially better now. And there in front of you is a contract with $40-50 million guaranteed. You could probably get more on the open market. You probably, but you don't know. Well, you probably do know. Agents, these agents talk to other teams. They know what offers are already. There's tampering going on. No. Yes. But still, that's a piece of paper that's in front of you, and it's going to guarantee you $50 million while you can't even run at full speed right now. And I know it doesn't matter because eventually you will, but still, that's the reality of the situation. It's tough to say no.
And there's more risk on you, right? If you don't take that deal. And
that's right.
If you come back and remember Chris Godwin, I think Scott Reynolds had mentioned on the show before, like a couple weeks ago, where we think Chris Godwin is a number one receiver. Do other teams, because they're going to look at that stat sheet. They're going to look at the production, how we had the 800 year, and then things get
There's
cut
enough
short.
Smart people in this league.
You would think there would
understand his value.
Yeah,
yes.
You would think there would be. But if the Bucs offer you something like you said, and you're injured, and you don't want to risk getting another injury that would just totally just plummet your value, and then you're like in like the Odell territory or the Juju territory.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying stuff happens. Yeah. So 50, 60, 50, 40 million, whatever, it may not be what you want, but it may be what you need right now.
Especially, not to be melodramatic about it, but in this global situation we're in, if somebody's going to hand me a check, a signing bonus check for $40 to $50 million in the next month and a half or whatever it is, bruh.
I'm taking it.
Bruh.
I'm taking it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm taking it. I mean, if you're Chris Godwin, and I know Chris is listening to the show because he's a big fan. I'm talking to you, Chris Godwin, right now. This is where your agent is not your best friend. Okay. Agents are based on what they get for their clients, and it's a big deal to them because this is the world in which they live in. And if you take a quote under market value, and you don't even know it's under market because you know what the market is, but you are taking a risk of losing generational money for your family. You go out there and play under the franchise tag. Yeah, you're going to make $20 million, $19 million, $7, whatever it is. And you injure that knee again, that you can kiss that guaranteed money goodbye. You're going to have to prove it the rest of your career. That's just the way it works in this league. So I beg you, your agent's going to say, no, we can get more. We can get more. We can get more. It's not his life. It's not his family. It's your family. So I don't care. I'm not saying this as a Buccaneer fan or whatever. I'm just saying as a friend, if they're offering you that much guaranteed money, why wouldn't they? You take it, and you become the kick-ass Hall of Famer that we all know you can be. You've got all the talent in the world. You've got the greatest attitude. You're one of the best leaders this team has ever seen. You play with aggression and competitiveness that is rare, even in this league. You're a stud, and the Bucs know it. You love it here. Let's make this thing work. Let's make this thing work, Chris, please. So, and that will allow the Buccaneers to franchise Carlton Davis III, which I think is definitely the play here. And Scott Reynolds will join us at 10:30. He's kind of laid that out before, so we'll see what he's thinking at this point because everything changes. 11:15, TJ Rives will join us from the luxurious confines of the Indianapolis airport, where he's up there to call the Horizon League final. But we'll talk some Bucs as well with him. Maybe even working a little NCAA hoops. Jackson Suber is a golfer at Ole Miss. He is a Valspar Championship sponsors exemption. Really, really cool local story. He grew up here in South Tampa. His family member at Palmacia. He holds the Palmacia course record. Shot a 58 there. I believe 58 or 59 there. A few months back, we had him on the show. And that's a place where some of the greatest golfers in the history of the game have played. Bobby Jones, Walter Hagen, Sam Snead, some of the greatest that have ever played the game, and he owns the course record. That's pretty cool. He will join us, and he's going to play in the Valspar, his first ever PGA tournament. And he's won, I think, 3 or 4 tournaments at Ole Miss, SEC, NCAA. I mean, this kid can play. He is, you hate to heap any future expectations on any young golfer because it's so hard in this game. I mean, he's as talented as so many, but it's all about what's between your ears and how you can hit shots in clutch and pressure situations. And if you're winning golf tournaments at the NCAA level, you got that. So we'll talk to Jackson Suber at 11 o'clock. So it should be a fun show. All right. We'll get into a couple stories here early on. We'll be talking about Chris Godwin and the Bucs here in a little bit, but story, I guess the story broke last night or yesterday about Freddie Freeman being offered a contract by the Rays before the lockout. Now, I thought I had seen this before the lockout anyway. It didn't really register to me because it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal because, first of all, what was the offer? A Happy Meal and a couple of McFlurries? No. And even if it was a legit offer, they're going to get outbid. Nobody's going to. You think these Yankees, Red Sox, Dodgers, all these big money teams are going to let Freddie Freeman? The Braves will come back with a better offer than the Rays. I guarantee you that. Come on. People are like taking, they spent $187 million on Wander Franco. No, they didn't. And they're not even going to come close to that. They'll jettison him when that contract gets to about $6 or $7 million. Whatever. I got to go look at the contract. He won't be around here for the 187. Trust me on that. Like, people are so giddy about, they changed our philosophy. We're spending lots of money now. You haven't spent anything yet. Spent some money on Corey Kluber. Okay. All right.
They technically can't spend any money right now. Just saying.
Yeah, because of the lockout.
Yeah.
The 24 years previous or whatever the hell it is.
Listen,
when there wasn't a lockout is not proof enough that they ain't going to spend big money. But a lot of you guys are like, Freddie Freeman. Reel him in.
Hold up.
What kind of bait is he using this time?
Hold up. We have plenty of things in the game of baseball and the MLB right now to be upset about, pissed off about, and pessimistic about. This is one thing that I saw yesterday, and I sent it in a nice big group chat with our friends. I said, the Rays,
Freddie Freeman.
Excitement. We're in the running. In the Freddie Freeman sweepstakes.
And we're going to have a sister city plan, too. We're going to play half our games in Montreal and half our games. And then we're going to make lots of money off of that because we have these TV. And then we're going to have the biggest payroll in baseball. We spend lots of money. That's what we're going to do. kids.
Why are you so disrespectful today?
Because come on, you people, come on.
It's just
have
good
a
to
brain.
see, but it's just
he's playing you again. You people,
cool.
Oh my God!
It is cool to see the Rays linked to Freddie Freeman. Just the thought of it, the sight of a credible reporter saying it that the Rays are in on it is exciting for me. It's exciting for me.
And Dodger fans, Braves fans, Yankee fans, they're all laughing at you. You're a laughing stock.
The Rays could outbid. They could outbid. They could outbid. They could pull from the reserves. You know it's there. You know it's there.
Oh, I know it's there. He's got the money.
You know it's there.
He's got the money, but it's behind.
What better way than getting back on the good graces of fans than signing Freddie Freeman to a long-term deal, $30 million a year, and going for it? Going for it.
Half of their payroll, they're going to commit for another 11 years, starting this year.
Let's do it.
He won't pay $15 million, $20 million a year for a stadium. That will actually bring him triple the revenue, but he'll pay Freddie Freeman $30 million.
I'm game with it.
All right, look. Listen, fantasy world is fun. No doubt about it. That's why they have all these video games, and you can be whoever you want to be. So go be GM, Rays GM, throwing spitting cash.
Yeah. When I get home, I'm gonna go put on the show, and I'm gonna turn force trades on.
Yeah, force. I don't even know how that works, but I can imagine.
I'm gonna trade my expiring Kevin Kiermaier contract and a couple dime pieces in there, and Freddie Freeman's gonna be a Ray.
Listen, the Rays have bigger fish to fry right now. They're setting up their spring training games with their minor leaguers, so you can go watch the minor leaguers play, which actually is not a bad idea for free.
I think Tyler Zombro's out there.
Yeah,
good story.
Great story. I saw Glass now at the Rays game the other day.
At the what game?
I mean, Lightning game.
Glasnow was in the house.
Yeah, he was hanging around the Chase Club,
of course,
just chilling. And we don't even know what they're going to do with him. I'm pretty sure they're going to trade him. They're not going to pay him to rehab Tommy John. They're not doing that. I mean, a real team would do that. I mean, that spent money and was committed to winning.
The Rays aren't a real team to you?
Well, they're not committed to winning from a financial standpoint. They never have been. They would have won probably 2 or 3 World Series by now. If they ever combined their incredible intellect for analytics with actually spending some money, like last year, Charlie Morton, Blake Snell, perfect examples. If you had those guys in the postseason, you would have had a legit. You probably would have won the World Series. Yeah.
The Rays are on the cusp of being, or could be, the Dodgers of the American League if they tried. If they tried, they could.
The Dodgers are spending $270, $300 million, whatever the hell they're spending in payroll. We're never going to bring.
You got to spend that, but if you
when you say you're the Dodgers, that's what you're saying.
If you spent half of that with the analytic department,
absolutely, exactly, 100%. I've been saying that for 10 years.
From a success standpoint, always being there, the Rays would be, in my opinion, the Dodgers of the American League.
Of course, if they would, but that's never going to happen. Even though they have the money, they don't have the money to spend $300 million. Nobody's ever asked that. We've only said let's get to 20th in payroll, which is about $130 million. We're typically half that. And that's with this team banking $60 to $70, $80 million, probably more in profit every year, according to Forbes and many other experts, because we don't get to see the books. They were pre-COVID top 5 most profitable teams, and of course they always say they put that money back into the players and the team, and that's a complete and utter lie. But another false narrative that they've always talked about, and they throw these things out there, every once in a while. Who was it? The year before, last year was some other big guy. People. I saw people talking. Oh, Mike Trout wants to play for the Rays. Yeah, Mike Trout's going to want to play on that carpet out in Tropicana Field, where players have to sit at their lockers for an hour after the game just because their legs are so sore.
I think I kind of remember one was 2020 when they made that trade with St. Louis. That's what it was. And people thought for about 10 minutes that we were getting Paul Goldschmidt, right?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah,
it was Paul Goldschmidt.
I thought there was another big time free agent that we're quote in on, and whatever. It's a joke. It's never going to happen. And other teams are going to outbid the Rays, even if they gave a credible offer, which I doubt they would. But it gives people hope.
Could you imagine?
Float that stuff out there.
Could you imagine? Freddie Freeman in all his glory at first base.
Be nice.
Just slapping it the other way in the center field with no shift in sight to worry about.
Do you think that if with a guy like that, they would pencil him in at the same spot every day? First base,
Yes.
batting third.
Yes, there are some exceptions there. There are some exceptions to the rule, Kevin Cash. You can play him 155 times a year. First base every night.
Would they?
I think you
Would
should.
they?
I think you do. I think you do. Yeah.
I don't know. I think they would think there's a better way to do it.
I don't see how you could reinvent the wheel there with a guy like Freddie Freeman.
Oh, you have little faith.
I probably should walk back my statement there. But
it was weird. I saw something yesterday, like the percentage of teams that shift, because the shift is now illegal. Has anybody explained how they're going to enforce this, by the way?
No, I have not seen anything, though.
Yeah.
By the way, I have found out that yesterday, based on the Twitter reaction, which, again, how much of the population's on Twitter, I don't know. But it represents a minority. But
depends on how many they're blocking today.
Yeah. But a lot of people think that our opinions, we're the minority.
Yeah.
The way we feel. We are the minority.
In terms of
we think people should adapt
right
to guys throwing 100 now. And they're saying, well, that's easy for you to say.
First of all, if the guy's throwing 100, doesn't it behoove you just from an analytical science perspective to hit the ball the other way, to wait a split second and
I always thought
you can't catch up with the fastball anyway.
I mean,
if you're trying to pull that 102 mile an hour fastball, good luck with that. You're trying to sit back and wait and serve it the other way. You get that extra fraction of a second. I mean, again, the greatest hitters in the game for average that contacted the ball, all are opposite field kind of guys. Tony Gwynn, Wade Boggs, Rod Carew, Suzuki, Pete Rose. They all did it.
Yeah, and I thought baseball was as simple when a guy's throwing really hard like that, it's moving. I thought it'd stand in the back of the box.
Stand in the back of the box and go the other way.
Short to swing,
go the other way.
I thought it was just that simple. I don't know if baseball fundamentals have changed.
That's the old fundamentals, man. That's the old fundamentals.
I know we're just gripping and ripping it now. I know.
Sit on your back haunches, okay? Angle up at 45 degrees and take a hack.
Yeah. If you're not falling down to one knee, you're not swinging hard enough.
Yeah. Your fundamentals are way off. So I have no confidence in that whatsoever. And in case you missed the show yesterday, we're not going to go into a long diatribe on this, but we do expect to get the proposal from Hillsborough County here within, I would say, the month. I would say in the next few weeks, we could expect to see a financial proposal that's going to go to the Rays. And I just think the framework is going to be somewhere around $350 million public money, $350 from the Rays, $200 from naming rights of the stadium, which of course the Rays will want to say the naming rights should go to us, and blah, 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 but that's just down the road. And I do believe it's going to be Ybor City. That's where everybody is locking in on. It's where baseball wants the stadium to be. Major League Baseball will not allow them to build another stadium in St. Petersburg. We told you that forever. And St. Petersburg will try and work up a package, and it'll probably be a bit more financially feasible for the Rays to do it there. But that's just a negotiating ploy like some of this other stuff. And hopefully we can cut through all the bull crap and get this thing done finally. But we'll see. We'll see what the next move is by Stu Sternberg. I fully predict he will try and bring St. Petersburg in as a, quote, viable option and trying to get more money out of Hillsborough County to come up with more money and say, look, I can't go over there if it's, I've got this, way better deal here in St. Petersburg. But it's not about that. It's about the long-term viability of this franchise, not how much money goes into Stu Sternberg's pocket. But, with him, that's always been the priority. All right. The Lightning are back at it. We'll get some John Cooper stuff on a little bit later on. Some of the guys talked yesterday, and this road trip is going to test them quite a bit. They got Winnipeg, I believe. This is going down the stretch now. The Lightning do have to get better. They have to improve their power play. They got to improve their special teams. They've got to play better against the better teams, and that's the challenge now. They know what it is, and I do think that there's lots of room to grow with this particular team. So it'll be fun to watch down the stretch. Obviously, they're a contender, but they got work to do.
Yeah, and you mentioned it here on the mix of this 6-game road trip, 5 games left. This is you get Winnipeg, and then you get the best team of all is going to be Calgary here.
Yeah.
And then you get to end it with kind of,
they're an interesting team.
And then you get to end it with Edmonton, Vancouver, and Seattle. So that's good. You come home from that, You go straight into the Rangers, Carolina, and Boston coming off this road trip. And by the way, you won't get that one home game, and then you go right back on the road against Carolina and Boston.
Yeah.
So this is
a huge test.
This is one of the biggest challenges of the season, I'd argue, for the Lightning here, playing all these West Coast games. And we know we had the stack, right, against that division, 23.
9-1-1 this year.
23 in the last 2 years, I believe, 3 years.
23-1 and 20-3-1.
There you go.
So, I mean, we're going to know a lot more about this team. And, as much as we feel confident about it, we could be sitting here at the end of March going, wow, this team's got a lot of work to do. And when's the trade deadline? A couple weeks?
Let me get the exact date here.
I do expect now to see something done. But we'll see. It's interesting that Cal Foot, it was kind of a healthy scratch. 2 or 3 games in a row? There's something, quote, internal. And he's come back and he's played differently. He's been more physical, scored the goal the other night.
Yeah.
That internal, whatever it was, might have been a little bit of a wake-up call.
Yeah. And the trade deadline is Monday, March 21st.
Okay.
So we got a couple weeks there, I believe, before we get there. But I think Bogosian might be back tonight. It's been a while since he's been there. But I think Brian Bradley has mentioned this. I think Chief has mentioned this. You can't ever have enough defense. And after the Lightning's top 4, which I could go pound for pound is probably maybe the best in the entire National Hockey League, do you feel confident right now with that trio of Calfoot, Schuster, I'll throw Ruda in there, and Bogosian, that's enough back there? I mean, they've proven it that it could be enough, but this year's a little different.
The Lightning have a penchant for finding some veteran defensemen that fit in. I think you can see veteran defensemen, or you could see a scorer, a top 6 forward coming in. I think those are, but how to fit them under the cap, how they're going to do that, what assets they give up. If I'm the Lightning, I know that they've given up a lot of assets to make this run, but I keep doing it.
Yeah,
I keep doing it. This team's you're still in the mix. Be a prisoner of the moment. Don't do foolish stuff, but I say stretch, do what you got to do to keep this team in contention. And I do think they need some stuff. They're just not good enough against the best teams.
Yeah. And they're sending the signs. I mean, I've been seeing, they monitor the scouts at every game. The Lightning have a scout at a lot of games right now. They're sending them out there to see what's going on out there. And
it feels like they're going to be aggressive.
It feels like they will. And I even saw yesterday, and I don't know how in the world this would work, but they're one of the teams that's doing a lot of work on Claude Giroux, who is 34 years old, but is still a damn good player, wants to win a cup, but $8.75 million for Claude Giroux. You obviously would have to have Philly retain. It'd get pretty difficult. I don't know how you fit that in, but I mean, just the thought of it, right? Could you imagine him in the top 6?
Wow. That would work out just fine. Yeah. And they may need to make a bold move because these other contenders are going to make bold moves as well. So yeah, I'm leaning more and more towards that, no doubt. Yeah. All right, a couple other stories I want to get to before we get to Scott Reynolds. Calvin Ridley yesterday suspended for the year for betting on NFL games while he was on a mental rest situation. He needed a mental break from the game, and so he took a week or so and went and bet on football games. But only $1,500. He doesn't have a problem. He tweeted that out. I want everybody to know. One of the questions I have about this is, how did the NFL find out about this?
It's curious, right?
Yeah. How did the NFL find out about this? They said they I think the reporting I saw was they saw some suspicious activity on a phone. Betting $1,500 is not suspicious activity
for a guy who makes $11 million a year.
Yeah, I don't understand what the hell is going on there. If I'm the NFLPA, I'm like, how? I understand. People will say, well, what's the difference? You can't be betting on games. I get that. I don't think people understand what a violation of your privacy that is. I mean, do you want people really snooping into your phone and everything? Because you might say, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, you have nothing to worry about. That's not true. Because things could be misinterpreted. People could be using your phone. You could be getting hacked. There's a lot of different things that could be going on. But the fact that they're finding out what Calvin Ridley is betting on. I mean, are all these NFL players' phones tagged? Are they being monitored for betting? If that's something they agreed to in the CBA, which, by the way, I would not think would be unreasonable, frankly. If they're told, hey, yes, we will be monitoring gambling sites and we have your data to do so. I don't, if you agree to that in the CBA, then I can see that. But I don't think any of that has happened. And so how did they find out? All right, another thing. It just seems kind of silly. That's a dumbass thing to do. You know damn well you can get suspended for it. I mean, you can bet on 1,000 different things, bro. Go bet on frog jumping.
Yeah, I have two.
You need that little rush.
I have two separate thoughts here, and I don't know if one contradicts the other. I think both things can be true without it being so. To me, that's ridiculous of you to do that. And I think, again, we don't love to hold people accountable,
right?
Which is what I've seen. The reaction has been, well, this suspension is stupid. We all do it. The NFL promotes it. What's the problem, right? And he was away from the team, this and that and the other. I tend to I understand that based on the suspension, because if you go back into the NFL's history of suspensions, they don't get it right with domestic violence.
No,
they don't get it right with sexual assault. No. But when a guy places a three bet parlay on his team to win, by the way,
seems incongruent.
It doesn't. Yeah, you could use that word.
It's seriously.
It doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah.
And what's the punishment?
You could beat the living hell out of your girlfriend on videotape.
Yeah.
And you get 6 games.
Yeah.
But bet on 3-team parlay, you're done for the season.
Yeah. Do you remember Ray Rice got 2 games?
Yeah.
For everything we saw on video?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not the NFL's brightest moment. And the other argument that I've seen, and I agree with this one wholeheartedly, if Stephen Ross, if this comes out to be true,
right,
that he's paying a coach, to lose games, what's his suspension? What's his grounds?
Exactly. And with that in mind, with what you just said in mind, listen to Roger Goodell's statement on this. There's nothing more fundamental to the NFL success and to the reputation of everyone associated with our league than upholding the integrity of the game, Goodell said. This is the responsibility of every player, coach, owner, game official, and anyone else employed in the league. Your actions put the integrity of the game at risk, threaten to damage public confidence in professional football, and potentially undermine the reputations of your fellow players throughout the NFL. Now, think about that in terms of what is alleged with Stephen Ross. And it's like the NFL is treating it like it's no big deal. And why is that? Because Stephen Ross is an owner. The owners control the league and control Roger Goodell. This illusion that Roger Goodell is somehow an autonomous commissioner and keeper of the grand game, irrespective of the owner's wishes, is bullshit. Complete and utter bullshit. He works for the owners.
Yeah.
And they're not going to investigate Stephen Ross, just like they didn't investigate Dan Snyder. They're going to investigate it. They'll act like they are, but they're not. They're not going to come up with some huge sanction on Stephen Ross. No, rich people don't sanction themselves. They don't do that. They hide, they cover up, they deflect, but they don't take responsibility for their actions. I mean, Brian Flores could bring a freaking copy of the check to the league office, and they'd be going, nothing to see here. I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, is anybody taking that seriously?
No, I don't think so.
And it's so much more egregious. And by the way, there is mountains of circumstantial evidence that support Brian Flores' claims. As you could see what ownership was doing to jettison their best players, Minka Fitzpatrick, et cetera, to lose games, to tank. Who are you kidding? Of course he did. Who am I going to believe in that situation? Stephen Ross or Brian Flores? Are you effing kidding me?
There you go.
I don't need an investigation. I know what happened there. So, and then you're going to come down on this dude for a 3-team part?
Yeah. I mean, I was going to say, where do you think the tank?
Laughable.
Where do you think the Tank for Tua slogan came from? Huh?
Stephen Ross wrote it.
Yeah, he wrote it. Okay.
By the way, bad strategy. That was even bad strategy. We could have told you that. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, Scott Reynolds is going to join us. We'll get into some Bucs-centric talk, not only on the what's going to happen today at the franchise tag deadline, but also the Combine. Pewter Report was all over the Combine, so we'll get a little update on that in the draft when we come back. Stay with us. Hey, folks, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center, a very different kind of approach to primary care. Personalized preventative medicine, not a one-pill-fits-all mentality. Christopher Lugo and his experienced medical staff are proactive in looking at issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. Rather than the impersonal rushed approach, you will be the only patient and will have our full attention. That's new. Getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. Bay Area Modern Medical Centers are experts in anti-aging regenerative medicine that optimizes your body's performance in many areas. So call for an appointment to get started on a journey back to full health and a happy life with a new, modern way of healthcare. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for my friend, attorney Christopher Palermo. If you are having issues with a claim on your homeowner's insurance from a sinkhole, storm damage, water intrusion, defective stucco, and construction defects, or any other issue, Christopher is your man. These big insurance companies didn't get rich paying out what you deserve. Chris founded his practice in 2009 with a passion to help all Floridians with disputes where they were forced to take on the powerful and needed a champion in their corner. Chris wants to make sure you will receive the most aggressive and compassionate representations. He has recovered millions in settlements on behalf of his clients facing defective stucco damage and other construction issues. So call Chris, mention the JP Show, and he will give you a free consultation. That's 813-221-5636, or go to PalermoPA.com. He's a fifth-generation Tampanian graduate of Jesuit High School and the University of Florida, and he cares deeply about you and the community. That's 221-5636 or PalermoPA.com. Homeowners, listen up. Property values have risen in the Tampa Bay area to record levels, some up to 24% in 1 year. It's time to refinance your home and pull out the equity before rates go through the roof. Call my man Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Scott believes interest rates will be over 5 very soon due to the volatile economy and inflation, but you can still lock in the mid-3s, but not for long. This means you can save tens of thousands of dollars over the Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo, who's going to join us tomorrow. We had to delay his appearance as he's breaking down the legalese over the Rays lawsuit with Stu Sternberg, or the lawsuit with Stu, the partner suing Stu Sternberg, I should say. Very interesting stuff. There's I think not only his opinion, but many other attorneys that he could be deposed. So, but Chris Palermo also does great law work with anything to do with your homeowner's insurance or defective construction. So go to PalermoPA.com and check him out. All right, Scott Reynolds from the Pewter Report joining us now. What's up, Scotty? How are you, my friend?
Doing good, Jake.
Oh, did we lose you? You there? Oh, technical.
Sorry, there you go.
There we go. Yep. We got a little mute button there.
Yep. Yeah, we've got some news that the Buccaneers will be using the franchise tag on Chris Godwin.
It's that. Are you reporting this? Is that Pewter Report reporting this?
We're working to confirm it, but Ian Rappaport, who's usually right on, is reporting it, and that is in line with what we have previously heard. The team didn't want to do it. They were hoping to reach a contract extension with Chris Godwin and his agents. That didn't happen. And the interesting thing, P, is I thought that the team wanted to use the franchise tag all along on Carlton Davis.
I agreed with you, yes.
Because when you look at Davis, right, he's missed 14 games now in his NFL career, including 7 last year. So there are some health concerns. I mean, in his contract year, you want to get a really good look at the guy. I mean, that's just about half the season, so that was hard to do. Then he doesn't get an interception as a rookie. He gets his first interception late into his second year. Then he gets 4 during the Bucs Super Bowl run in 2020. Then he comes back last year and only has 1, and he dropped. Gosh, he probably dropped 3 others.
Yeah.
And so there's a big difference between paying a guy, a cornerback, that can get 4 to 5 interceptions per year as opposed to a guy that gets 1. Because the guy that gets 4 to 5 is in the Pro Bowl. The guy that gets 1 usually is not.
It's a good cover,
unless
man.
he's just so supreme that he shuts down, other teams' receivers and they don't go his direction.
Right.
But what I'm hearing is that the team was not going to use the franchise tag on Carlton Davis after all.
Really?
That there are some real concerns about Davis's health and the team wanting to put a lot of money into a guy for many years that may not be on the field for X amount of games. And the thing is when you use the franchise tag for Carlton, it would be $17 million, just north of that.
Wow. $
17 million. That's a lot of money. And then what you're saying is Carlton, you're worth $17 million. That's what you're saying if you franchise it. So negotiations kind of start there. And I think in reality, the Buccaneers look at Carlton Davis as maybe a $14 to $15 million corner, as opposed to a $17, $18, $19 million corner per year, of course.
Yeah. That's a very interesting dynamic because obviously, good cover corners are hard to find, but there are tiers. There are tiers to this, and nobody knows this player like the Buccaneers do, and they feel if there's injury risk and there's a downside of if by now you're not showing that you're that guy that catches the ball and makes that play, then you're not that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, you could become suddenly better.
And
but
JP, you and I both know that while Carlton has never played all 16 games in a season, he's missed 2 games here, 2 games there, 7 last year. That he's played through a bunch of injuries. I mean, he's a tough guy, but he still played through a lot of injuries. And you and I have both covered this team long enough that there are some guys that just, whether it's a Rondé Barber, right, who didn't miss a game despite playing with injuries, but never missed a game. There's like Ndamukong Suh has never missed a game due to injury in his entire career.
That's insane.
Never.
That's insane.
There are some guys that just they play with the bubble around them.
Yeah.
Like that's their gift from God, is they don't get hurt.
Yeah.
And there are other guys that are like Mr. Last, where they always get hurt. And the one thing I learned from Dirk Cutter is, the greatest ability is availability. You can't help the club in the tub.
That's right. You cannot. So I think like last offseason, everything kind of went the Bucs' way. Even the nuances on other teams, everything fit into what exactly was good. It was a perfect fit. It kind of seems like it's just the opposite. Like this is the regression to the mean. Karma's catching up, whatever you want to say. Last year it was the injuries at the end of the season that hurt them drastically. Oddly enough, ironically enough, it was injuries at the end of the season to offensive linemen that probably helped them against the Chiefs. No doubt about that in the Super Bowl. So it giveth and it taketh away. And that's just kind of where the Bucs are right now. And you've just got to make your best guess on players. And I also kind of feel like, reporting this early in the day is another way of saying to the Godwin team, look, this is the offer. It's not changing. Either take it or, we'll just franchise you. We'll keep working. And I think it serves a purpose. And I said this at the beginning of the show, and this, Scott, the agents in these situations are not always your best friend. Because they are judged by, their big clients and what they got for that client. And in 2 or 3 years, if he were to accept this offer, and let's just say it's maybe 40, 50 million on the table, right? And he goes on to, as we believe, to have 3 more Pro Bowl seasons, blah, blah, blah. In the agent circles, they're going to look back on that and go, oh, man, your guy did not get you what you could have gotten. But then that's right. But then here you are sitting with an ACL with 40, 50 million guaranteed sitting in front of you. You go out and injure that same knee this year on a franchise tag, you just lost $30 million. It's a roll of the dice. And I think the Bucs, and this is the business part of it, the Bucs just want him to sit there for another 6 or 7 hours and go, that's generational wealth sitting on the table right there. Whatever happens to my knee after this. And do I really want to roll the dice? Now, their agent will want you to do that. But if I'm you, Chris Godwin, sign the effing deal.
That's right.
Take the money, brother. Take the money.
You better believe it. Hey, how about Juju Smith-Schuster, right, in Pittsburgh? Up-and-coming guy, gets hurt, hasn't been the same. Here's the other thing, too. And I think some people on Twitter kind of thought this, okay, well, this is actually a good thing for Chris Godwin. He'll come back healthy and he'll have a big year and he'll make even more money next year. Listen, Adrian Peterson coming back off a 20 ACL and rushing for 2,000 yards is the extreme outlier. Yes. Because Adrian Peterson was an extreme athlete. Okay, that is not the norm. That is far from it. The norm, and I'm not saying this will happen to Chris Godwin. The norm is you will have what is called a recovery year, which is you might be able to play all 17 games. You might be able to play at a reasonably high level, but you may not be back to 100%. In other words, you might be able to play physically at 100%. Like, yep, the knee's good to go. You're going to pass the physical and you're going to do all the things, but you're not going to be at your peak 100%. Right. Until after your recovery year. I've talked to just way too many players that have suffered ACLs and serious injuries. Look at O.J. Howard, right? He played in every game last year coming off that Achilles injury. He was not the same player that he was the year prior at all. Nope. Because there's a mental and a physical hurdle that you have to overcome. And listen, the thing is Chris Godwin, where does he work? The middle of the field. What happens, you've got safeties coming at you, linebackers coming at you, nickel corners coming at you. He might think twice about catching some of those balls across the middle because he got his knee chopped out from him in the Saints game by doing that. It was routine to him. Now you might see more drop passes from Chris Godwin in those situations because he's thinking about that knee, even though he might be 100% physically, medically cleared to go. So there's no guarantee, JP, that he's going to go out there and get 1,100 yards or 1,300 yards next year. Oh, and by the way, it's not going to be Tom Brady throwing you the football, Chris. Okay? It's going to be Blaine Gabbert or Kyle Trask. Okay? Not exactly the same caliber of quarterback. So you're not going to get the perfectly placed balls. Right. You're going to be led into some big hits. It's not going to be as pretty as it was the last 2 years playing with Brady. So yeah, I'm with you, man. Take the freaking deal. I think that listen, if you were to tell me that at the end of the 2022 season, that Chris Godwin ends up catching, X amount of passes for 900 yards, it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't be a surprise to me at all.
Yeah, listen,
if he has a little bit of a regression, either statistically or from a physical mental standpoint.
And some people might say, well, then, Scott and JP, why would we sign him for that much money? And you can expound on this as well. The people in this building love Chris Godwin. Like if you could develop a player as an avatar, this is what they would come up with. And I mean mind, body, and soul in terms of his leadership, the way he competes. Yeah. Everything you want in a football player on every level will do whatever you want him to do, can do whatever you want him to do, can block linebackers, can block defensive ends, can run away from people, he does it all. And, he's not the biggest name in the world because he was a third round pick. But people in this business know this guy is a top 5 receiver in this league in terms of how he helps you win.
Yeah, no, you're right. And the other thing too, JP, is listen, wide receiver, because of the way college football has gone to this wide open spread type thing, guess what? The wide receiver position is flush this year with talent. It was flush last year. Next year, it's going to be flush again. It is going to be probably year in and year out the deepest position in terms of quality and quantity, just because there are more 1,000-yard receivers coming out of college systems than ever before. And what that means is these guys are really skilled. They're getting a ton of catches. They're getting a ton of yards. They're reading a ton of of coverages and defenses. There are more polished receivers coming out now than there ever has been. I mean, when you guys started, doing this, JP, back in the, the 80s, the 90s, I mean, a receiver coming out, a first-round pick, if you had 40 catches for 750 yards and caught 6 touchdowns, that's a pretty good season. If you were a 1,000-yard receiver, you're like, wow, holy smokes, this guy's really good. I mean, now 1,000-yard receivers in college football are, I don't say they're a dime a dozen, but they kind of are.
Yeah, they are.
So the thing is if you're doing this, if you're going to take the franchise tag and you're not going to do the extension, you're giving the Buccaneers 2 draft cycles to draft your replacement, man.
Yeah,
because
that's true.
It might be a thing. It's like, okay, well, Chris,
that's a great point.
let's see how you come. Let's see how you come back next year.
Yep.
And again, they like Chris. There's nothing against Chris. It's just, Chris has got to hedge his bets. The Bucs have got to hedge theirs.
Yeah,
and you're giving the Buccaneers 2 draft cycles to potentially draft your eventual replacement, to where they sit there and say, you know what, now you're 27, Chris, and you franchised you for 2 years, and you know what, you only had 950 yards last year.
Yep.
We're going to let you go.
It's a great scenario, and that's why if I were Chris, I would sign that. I got to hit you with something that, first of all, correction from did you say, Nick, that Ian Rappaport has corrected his report? He's corrected his report.
Yeah, I just saw that as well. Yeah,
they haven't actually, and the Bucs won't actually put in the paperwork until the last
not
minute.
till 4 o'clock.
Yeah, they're going to give Chris as much time as they can possibly, and I hope he thinks about that and doesn't listen to his agent. So this is a complete speculation I'm going to throw at you, all right? Because you know how we love doing this.
Okay.
But I'm going to tell you, I'll probably tell you off air, but I can't tell you on air. So I got a text yesterday from somebody who talked to some. Anyway, the source is somebody who played with Russell Wilson. Okay. And that source is saying that Russell Wilson is going to be the next quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, I know we've talked about this before, and I know there's a lot of stuff out of Seattle. They're not trading him. You look at where Seattle is, especially with Bobby Wagner's. If they trade him, then they're going to get $20 million relief on him. If they trade Russ, they'll get another $25 million. They could trade Russell Wilson and Bobby Wagner, come away with 5 to 6 first-round picks, and do and a crap ton of cap room, over $70-80 million maybe total, that they, when restructuring contract, they can do a complete rebuild. Not that they have to use all those picks this year, but they can use those to move up to get a quarterback, blah, 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 blah. And that's where, if Seattle's honest with themselves, that roster is a dumpster fire outside of those 2 or 3 players and DK Metcalf and a couple others. Right. It's a dumpster fire. So I still think it's in the best interest of both teams to work this deal. So I do believe there's still some credibility there, even though I know Russ has said he's not coming to the East Coast, blah, blah, blah. I don't believe anything people say this time of year. It's meaningless. So I'm just throwing that out. But I don't know. But I don't know. I don't know what the Bucs are thinking. Yesterday I thought they were going Trask and Gabbert, leave the light on for Brady. But who knows? Do you have any update?
I don't have any update. I do know that the Buccaneers did a lot of their due diligence and phone calls and inquiries prior to the combine, and they seem resigned, and they admitted it publicly, what I had heard privately. They seem resigned to the fact that as of right now, there's no quarterbacks available right now. Things could heat up before the draft. I will say this. The Buccaneers right now are not in a good position to have to fork over a bunch of premium draft picks because they just have so many holes on their roster. And the thing is the first round picks that Jason Light has hit, he feels pretty confident, and I would too. Right? This guy's track record's pretty good. Say what you want about Devin White. Technically, he's a Pro Bowl. All right, and there are worse linebackers out there.
Let me just say, Starian.
That's a first rounder right there.
Yeah.
Vita Vea, Pro Bowler. That's another first rounder. Tristan Wirfs, All Pro. That's another first round, right? So Jason Light has a knack for, and this is what you have to do as a successful general manager. You have to draft a starting caliber plug and play player in your first round, right? You just have to. And I think JTS, Joe Tryon, I think he has Pro Bowl potential. I think he's going to be really, really good. And I think you're going to see he could get 10, 12 sacks this year, in my opinion. So the thing is yes, you're trading away, a position starter with the first round pick for another position starter, Russell Wilson. That's fine. The problem is how many first rounders is it going to take? Is it going to take 3? Because then what you're saying is for Russell Wilson, we're going to trade away, 3 potential starters, and we've got a bunch of holes, right? Ali Marpet retired. They're either going to lose Ryan Jensen or Alex Kappa, right? Does Ndamukong Suh, he wants to come back? Is it going to be in Tampa? That's another hole. Yep. You got a hole at tight end. You got a bunch of holes at running back. I just don't know if the Buccaneers are in real position to do that. Now, I think the interesting thing is I think what the Buccaneers would love, and this would go against what Seattle would want, would be, hey, we're happy to trade for Russell Wilson year's one after the draft. I think they would love to get to this draft and then possibly entertain a trade. And of course, if you're Seattle, you want those draft picks now so you could use them. Because the thing too is the Buccaneers have the 27th pick right now. If Russell Wilson comes, it's probably going to be a late pick as well.
Next, that's right.
So I'm not saying the Buccaneers wouldn't pull the trigger on a trade, but I'm telling you, man, Ali Marpet's retirement, that is an all-pro, surefire, rock bullet. I think that tipped the scale in terms of
rebuilding.
Jason Light doesn't like to use the word rebuild.
Right.
He can use the word reboot. Fine. It pretty much means the same thing.
Yep.
But they're not reloading.
I would
holes.
I would agree with that analysis.
They need those draft picks to fill those holes.
I agree with that analysis, but I also think they've laid out a price to Seattle, and if Seattle, this is all in Seattle's court. They have to decide, and of course, Russell has to agree to the trade. That's the big thing. Right. Seattle has to make the decision: are they going to rebuild? And they may not. This may not. It's a silly decision, but. And I think that the whole, when you think about the Wagner thing as well, if you throwing in Devin White makes that become a little bit more palatable for them. But whatever. Yeah. Well, these are all speculations, but it would shock me and shock if they go with, leave the light on for Brady, which I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and listen, the other thing too that the Buccaneers have as like a chip that they could play is Kyle Trask. Granted, he's he's proven. Maybe the other team, whether it's Houston eventually for Deshaun Watson or whether it's Seattle for Russell Wilson, at least you're giving them a quarterback, right? Because you have no reason to hang on to Kyle Trask, because if you're going to trade for Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson, they're going to be the starter for the next 3 years at least, and then Kyle Trask's contract is up, so you basically have just burned a second round pick. And that player, because he's a quarterback, has never seen the field, nor will he have the chance to, barring an injury.
Right.
So you might as well use that and say, listen, we're not going to give you 3 number 1s and 2 number 2s. We're going to give you 3 number 1s, a number 3, and Kyle Trask, right? And that's how you can kind of use that to your advantage, because like Jason Light accurately said, these teams that you want their quarterbacks, they don't have anybody being in the works. Now, that's not the case in San Francisco with Trey Lance. That's not the case in Green Bay with Jordan Love, because those teams have already invested first-round picks in those quarterbacks, whether they like them or not.
Right.
At least they've got somebody that they want to try and want to see if they're worthy of those first-round picks.
Yeah. Hey, real quick before you go, I know you guys were the great coverage. I was listening to your podcast the other day with the guys that did a phenomenal job. What was your takeaway from what the Bucs got at the combine? I think Zion Johnson, put on the show, which is kind of bad for the Bucs because they probably had a good feeling that he might fall to them, but I don't think that's going to happen now. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, guards typically fall, but he's really, really good. So you could see a team in the 20s right before the Bucs pick snag Zion Johnson, but he reminds me so much of Ali Marpet. He is a physical player, but an absolute technician as well. So the thing is Zion Johnson might have leapfrogged Kenyon Green from Texas A&M, who's not a bad player in his own right. He's a nasty guy, kind of sloppy technique a little bit, but still gets the job done, but a real nasty physical player. Kind of reminds me of Frank Middleton back in the day, but just without the sloppy body, but Frank was an ass kicker, and so was Kenyon Green. So So I think that there may be one of those two guards possibly available. I think that, listen, this draft is so weak at defensive tackle. I was talking to Warren Sapp about this the other day. We were watching some film. There's 3 defensive tackles in this year's class. There's Devontae Wyatt, who's probably DT1 from Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Davis. Listen,
he's a
Sapp and I are both. We're both in agreement here. He ran a 4.8 at the combine, but he plays a 5.2.
Yeah.
On Saturdays. If you watch the film, he's not.
He's a
the
plotter.
athleticism that you see at the combine doesn't show up on tape.
No,
that's why he didn't play on third down. The other guy is that I do think that they like a little bit. He's more like an Indominus Sue type player, bigger guy, is Travis Jones from UConn. So there's only 3 defensive tackles, right? And if Sue leaves, it's not a great free agent class. You might have to go out and get a B.J. Hill from Cincinnati, but that's a big hole next to Vita Vea. You can bring back Will Golston, but you're still missing a starting caliber guy. Nacho's a great fill-in guy, Hakeem Nunez-Roches. But Travis Jones might be an option at 27. You're kind of reaching a little bit, but if you need one, you need one. Offensive guard might be in play, and the guy that I think we're going to put at the next first-round pick for the Bucs in our mock draft, which will be dropping next week, is Christian Watson, the kid from Tampa, from North Dakota State, 6'4", 208, kind of reminds me of a little skinnier Mike Evans, but he will go up and get the ball, 39-inch vertical at 6'4", and 4.36 speed, very productive player. North Dakota State, I know that it may not be a household school for Floridians down here. To put it in respect, North Dakota State is like the Alabama of the FCS.
Yeah.
They usually win it all every year. They get the best talent in the FCS. You can think of Christian Watson as like the Jameson Williams of North Dakota State. He's like their blazer receiver, and I think he could be in play at 27. I think the Buccaneers, regardless of what happens with Chris Godwin, whether it's franchise or long-term deal, they will go wide receiver in the first round. It's just the Bucs offense is wide receiver driven. They can't afford to have what happened last year, where you lose Godwin and you lose a lot of productivity or in the playoffs without one of your big weapons. And of course, Antonio Brown pitches. So they need somebody to come in and really be that starting caliber number 3, because they play so many 3 wide receiver sets.
Yeah.
That I could see them going wide receiver, guard, or defensive tackle in first round.
Love it. I love it. Well, tell everybody. Oh, by the way, AB and Kanye are buying the Broncos, in case you didn't know. That's
oh God, help us all.
We're gonna do a whole segment on that later in the show. Exactly like what the pre-games are gonna look like in Denver, when Ye and AB buy the Broncos.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, that's going to be a mile-high pit, right? Isn't that what he says? The pit, not the palace.
Not the palace.
That's going to be the highest altitude pit in the country.
I think it's high time we have a minority owner, and who better than Kanye and AB? Come on, let's go.
And you said high time. Well, I tell you, that's the state to have it in, right?
That's
there.
Right.
420 friendly.
Oh my gosh, they'll be passing it out as you walk in. Here's your Here's your vape pipe. All right, hey, the crowd will be a little bit more subdued, or maybe not. You don't know what they're going to spice it up with. You never know. The possibilities are endless. I mean, wait till you hear this segment. It's going to be fantastic. All right, tell everybody what's going on at Pewter Report here in the off season.
Well, you got to make sure you're following us on social media, right? That's at Pewter Report on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Visit the website. We are updating our website at record pace, multiple stories per day, all the way from now through free agency, through the draft. So our website, we think, is the number one source for Bucs off-season news that's out there. And that's pewterreport.com. We also have these podcasts on our YouTube channel. It's called Pewter Report TV. Make sure you subscribe to Pewter Report TV and like our videos.
Handsome fellas.
With the algorithms.
Very handsome fellas.
And I appreciate that. Thank you. We do a little video, so we gotta make sure the makeup's on and doing everything.
Get your ring light going, just like I do right now.
Get the ring light, Get the wrinkle cream and put it on. So we do these podcasts every day at 4:00, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday in the off season. So from 4 to 5, you'll find us on Pewter Report TV on our YouTube channel. The great thing is we do it live, but if you miss those shows, You can always watch them in the podcast version later at your leisure. That's at Pewter Report TV on YouTube, and check us out.
All right, partner. Good stuff as always. We will wait for the big shoes to drop here in the next few weeks. Thanks. Appreciate it. Scott Reynolds,
You got it.
Pewter Report.
Take care, JP.
All right, when we come back, we're going to be joined by Jackson Suber. He is a local golfer here from Tampa Bay area, played at Plant High School, got a sponsor's exemption for the Valspar, so he's going to be playing in his first PGA Tour event right here in front of everyone, all his family and friends. So we'll talk to Jackson when we come back. Stay with us. The PGA Tour Valspar Championship is back in motion 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year and the last stop on the Florida swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course at Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth. Wow, the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com.
Are you selling your home or refinancing? JP here for Greenleaf Title. You choose the title company, not the realtor, and it makes a difference. You want a reputable company that will make sure your title is safe and secure. There are a lot of scammers out there right now. So go with a trusted company like Greenleaf Title. Plus, they will close anywhere, folks, and they will send a limo to pick you up to come to the closing. Yep, the great JP Limo closing is back. All you got to do is give them a call at 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. We'll set up the limo for you. They'll come pick you up. Heck, we even picked up one couple, took them to Black Rock Restaurant, one of our favorite advertisers, and then to the closing. That's how they do it at Greenleaf Title. Great service. We'll close anywhere. The lowest fees in the business. 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. That's greenleaftitle.com.
Getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. If you're feeling run down, you're working. Treatment with real-world results. So if you're suffering from a lack of interest in sex, ED, or lack of sexual stamina, Dr. Lugo and his staff can help. Take your health care to the next level at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Chris Palermo at PalermoPA.com. Also, the second hour brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center. It's a new way of doing and taking care of your body and health. It's not the old way where they just write you a script when you get sick. No, they take a proactive approach and make sure you're getting the right nutrients, the right supplements on the right diet, getting the right exercise, and give you a personalized plan to optimize your health. It is different. Go to Bay Area Modern Medical Center. That's BAMC.com for more information. All right, we want to welcome in a good friend of the show. He is currently ranked number 7 in the latest PGA Tour University Velocity Global Rankings from Plant High School and Ole Miss. Jackson Suber joining us here. Jackson, how are you, my friend?
Great. How you doing?
Good. The reason we're having you on the show to fill everybody in is you have been given a sponsor's exemption to take part in the Valspar Championship next week. Your local tournament, your PGA tournament here. Of course, you played many times in your youth. How excited are you to be playing in your first PGA Tour event?
Yeah, I mean,
it's an incredible opportunity, and so excited for the week.
Well, tell me how you found out first and foremost, and what was your reaction?
The tournament director, Tracy West, gave me a call and told me she was about to make my night, and said that they're going to offer me a spot, which I'd kind of been trying for the past 2 events. And so to finally get one and have it be at my hometown event is just means the world.
How about that? And how's your season going so far this year at Ole Miss?
It's going well. We had a decent fall season, and we've had a okay start, but starting to trend the right way.
How's your game? What are you working on?
It's good. Kind of just working on alignment, just making sure everything's dialed in for the week.
All right, so you've played Copperhead a few times, I'm guessing. Have you played it in some junior tournaments? And how did you fare? How do you like the golf course?
Yeah, I played in some junior tournaments when I was younger. I don't remember exactly how I played. I remember it was hard.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to hit the ball well out there, especially your longer clubs. And you just got to kind of keep it in front of you and just keep picking away at it.
So we had you on last time because you broke the course record at Palmacia, where some of the greatest players in the history game, Walter Hagen, Bobby Jones, Sam Snead, some of the greatest have played out there. And of course the Gasparilla Invitational, which we just had, the best amateurs in the world play there. It's one of the toughest, shortest courses in the world. And you shot 58 on a par 70 course. You set the course record. Tell me about that event. I know you told me before last time you were on, but refresh the memory of the folks. That's a pretty big accomplishment.
Yes, sir. I mean, that meant a lot to me. I mean, that's my home track. I've been playing there since I was 6-7 years old when I started, and to shoot the lowest score ever out there, it's definitely a good feeling to have, especially when you go there every day. And I think I had like 2 eagles and a bogey, and then a bunch of birdies mixed in there to shoot 59. So it was
59, yeah.
It was a feeling.
I bet. Jackson Super joining us here, going to play in the Valspar Championship next week. So, who's going to caddy for you? Tell me that.
I'm having Ryan Goebel on the bag. He currently caddies for Will's Outdoors full time, but Will's not playing that week.
Oh, nice.
And, so a mutual friend set us up. So it would be good to have someone with some experience helping me out.
That's a big deal. How did that come to be?
Just a couple friends. Golf World's a small place.
Yeah.
And, people get connected easily, and so it works out well.
So now what's your plan? When do you get to play practice rounds? Have you already played a couple practice rounds out there? I played out there last week in the media event with Rondé. Birdied 16, by the way, if you need that on Friday to make the cut.
I would take that.
I'll give from the white tees, but that's still, it's still a pretty good shot. What's your plan to get a couple practice rounds in?
Yeah, I'll play a pro-am on Monday, and then I'll play a practice round on Tuesday, and then kind of relax a little bit Wednesday and practice a little bit out there, not play, and just get rested for Thursday, Friday, and then hopefully the weekend.
Now, I don't remember I'm trying to remember the young man's name. He played at Georgia, local kid here. He played a few years ago.
Lee McCoy.
Yes, that's it, Lee McCoy. A nice young man. So he finished 4th. And I believe the check would have been somewhere in the neighborhood of like $200,000, maybe more. But obviously he couldn't take it. So now the process is you have to turn pro before the event for you to be able to make the money, right?
Yes, sir.
So any thoughts about that at all? I know your dad's going to get mad at me for asking this question, but I mean, does that ever creep into your mind? Because if you get there to Sunday and you're staring at a $200,000 check, what's your thought process about that?
If you go play well and stuff, all the money stuff will figure it out down the end if you just keep playing well. So I'm not too worried about that. Just going to play this, get some good experience, and take the opportunity, and then finish out my college season. But if you end up playing well like that, you get rewarded with opportunities down the road.
That's true. I'm sure sponsorships and what have you, but I always thought, like, my goodness, what I thought was after the tournament is, why don't the players, the established players who actually get to divvy up his money, right? I think that's how it works. So whatever extra cash you got in your check, because he couldn't take the money, how about a little something for the effort? Send a check down Georgia way, or send a car or something. That would have been nice for them to do, but whatever. But what is the thing? Is there anybody you're looking forward to meeting out there or seeing out there, or perhaps maybe even being paired with if you make the cut? What are you thinking?
Not really. I mean, it's just going to be cool to just to play on the PGA Tour, and just like the whole experience of it is just going to be great.
Now, what do you?
No one in particular, though.
No one in particular. Wow. Okay. What about the family aspect of this? How many people do you think? I mean, has your dad now secured 10,000 tickets for this thing? What's the family aspect? Or is he just not telling you, so you don't have to worry about any of it?
I really hope so. I mean, there could be 30 people out there watching me, like friends and family, or there could be 200, 300 people from Palmacia and all that. So
I think it'll be more.
You never know.
Yeah.
It's going to surprise me. So.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. Any other part of the PGA Tour, things that you've heard about that you're really looking forward to, like the really good food or practices or everything they give you while you're out? Because, by the way, the Valspar is like the king of swag. You're going to get so much cool stuff from them. That's and can you accept all that? I don't even know what the stupid NCAA rules are anymore with this stuff.
Yeah, you can take tournament gifts.
Okay,
as long as it's not money or anything. So yeah, you can take. I don't know what they give, or this is all new to me. So I'm just trying to figure it all out. I'm going to be grateful whatever happens.
Is this happening on your spring break, or are you having to juggle classes and all that other stuff?
It's actually my spring break, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Almost going to the beach. Brooks pretty close to the beach. So.
A little bit better, though. I think you probably have a better spring break than most of your classmates, but I don't know. The Redneck Riviera is pretty nice this time of year, but there's plenty of time for that down the road.
Of course.
All right. Well, Jackson, listen, man, it's going to be fun watching you. We'll be out there all week, and you're going to have a huge contingent. I'm really glad the Valspar is doing this, and it just brings, it really kind of brings the tournament home for so many people to have a local kid playing, and especially one that's as highly ranked as you and has a chance to be out there on the tour. I mean, I guess my final question is, how much of this do you go into this with, like, okay, this is like I don't want to say a job interview, but you take it really super seriously, or are you just going out there to have fun and enjoy the experience with low expectations? I think I would choose the latter as but that's why I'm a hack golfer. How are you going into this, your mindset?
I really try not to put too, I'd say I'm very serious going into it, but at the same time, I'm not going in there oh, I have to play well, I have to do this. I'm just going to go in there and work on my processes that I need to work on, just staying in the moment and stuff like that, committing the shots, and all that stuff will work out down the road if I do all the stuff I should do.
I think that's a great attitude, man. I look forward to seeing you out there. Have the best time, and just enjoy it one shot at a time. And it's going to be one of the best weeks of your life. I think whether you make the cut or not, it's going to be fantastic. But we're rooting for you. We'll see you out there, Jackson. Thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, and see you next week.
All right, we'll see you out there. Jackson Super. We'll probably interview him again once he gets out there on the course. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, TJ Rives is going to join us live from the Indianapolis airport. I bet things are happening. Things are popping at the Indianapolis airport. He's getting ready to do some basketball. We'll talk some Bucs basketball, all kinds of stuff. TJ Rives coming up next. Homeowners, listen up. Property values have risen in the Tampa Bay area to record levels, some up 24% in 1 year. It's time to refinance your home and pull out the equity before rates go through the roof. Call my man Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Scott believes interest rates will be over 5 very soon due to the volatile economy and inflation, but you can still lock in the mid-3s, but not for long. This means you can save tens of thousands of dollars over the life of your loan.
Now, Scott is an independent broker, so he can shop your mortgage around for the best rates, and he will pay for your appraisal if you mention you heard it here on the JP Show. That's a $500 to $700 value. Scott does not charge the huge upfront fees like the big banks do. In this uncertain economy and political climate, better to have cash in hand now. So call Scott at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Hey, folks, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center, a very different kind of approach to primary care. Personalized preventative medicine, not a one-pill-fits-all mentality. Christopher Lugo and his experienced medical staff are proactive in looking at issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. Rather than the impersonal, rushed approach, you will be the only patient and will have our full attention. That's new. Getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. Bay Area Modern Medical Centers are experts in anti-aging regenerative medicine that optimizes your body's performance in many areas. So call an appointment and get started on a journey back to full health and a happy life with a new, modern way of healthcare. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. That's
Rock.
This is FanStream Sports with JP.
all right. Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by, in our second hour, Bay Area Modern Medical Center. BAMMC.com is where you go to find out all the great information. Also by the Golden Diamond Source. And in March, Emily, and the birthstone of the month is aquamarine. So the Emily collection has all kinds of cool aquamarine stuff. The Julie collection by Steve and Julie Weintraub, exclusive award-winning collection. You can only find it there at the Golden Diamond Source. 0% financing available. If you've got the Diamond Savings Account, your diamond never loses its value, Nick, so you can upgrade next week. They have everything there for you. They have great watches, used watches, new watches. It's all there, 15, 20 minutes from downtown Tampa. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Omerton, always at goldendiamondsource.com. I'm sure, TJ, you've never heard of Golden Diamond Source, but there you are. TJ Rives joining us from Indianapolis, where he will call the Horizon League championship game tonight with a berth in the dance on the line. What's up, partner?
Always good to be with you. I have gotten here in the aftermath of the combine. I do not have to run a 40-time or bench press or vertical jump, I don't think. I may not do very well.
Three-cone drill, though. Case. You will have to do a three-cone drill to get on your flight on the way back.
Yeah, maybe a 40 on that one. By the way, the Big Ten basketball tournament is also here, and the flight morning from Tampa International, there were several people that had on their Indiana garb. A couple of them had Wisconsin stuff that were flying up here. Usually it's everybody from the upper Midwest flying to Tampa for spring break this time of the year, because I'm happy. I don't guess I'm happy. I'm unhappy to report a typical dingy, overcast, 39-degree morning here in Indianapolis. Not exactly the 85 degrees that we have in Tampa Bay, brother. There's the update.
Somebody else, people always ask me, why do they do the combine in Indianapolis every year? I'm like, because it's super convenient. And just like every trade show since like 1850 in America, it has to be in the middle of the country. And they think Indianapolis is that spot. And it's just kind of like it's kind of like an auto show, right? They bring in the latest models. Everybody goes over them and picks them over. I don't know. I just think it's become such a habit that's where it's all going to be, because it's dingy and nothing else to do but watch people run 3-car drills.
That's very true, because if you move it to an exotic location, then the players can get in trouble as well, which is also the point. But apparently the NFL is contemplating moving this to somewhere else, although there may be a lot of blowback from the teams, agents, et cetera, that may not want to participate if it's not in this kind of environment. So it's an awesome city for the Final Four and for big events, because you can walk to everything downtown. So I'm excited to be here again. March Madness all over the place. The craziness of the tournament and the automatic bid tonight here for this. And then I know you want to touch on the SEC basketball tournament. Coming right to our area in the Amalie Arena as well. So get ready for Kentucky. I think Kentucky may I don't know. They'll probably partially empty out the state to be down here for Big Blue and the SEC tournament. So we can't wait for all the March hoops, brother. Yeah, and Kentucky playing well. When their fan base is fired up, brother, they take over the town. So I'm looking forward to, I have no affinity to Kentucky at all, but I love passionate fan bases. And whatever it is, you're going to experience it no bigger than Big Blue in basketball. These people are nut jobs. And, there is no question. Yeah. There's no, and I have been in this setting on a couple of previous occasions in Atlanta and in Nashville. And in Nashville, obviously, proximity-wise, is much closer to Lexington, but Atlanta's not bad either. Now, it will be interesting on, do they have 10,000? Do they have 20,000? I'm saying to you, they might have 20 or 25,000 Kentucky fans that get down here for spring break. And they obviously can't all get their hands on tickets. So those of you that have them and are trying to maybe further your children's education in their college fund, or maybe make a down payment on a new home, just find a Kentucky group that wants to go to the SEC tournament this weekend, and you should be set. I should have thought sooner and got my tickets and scalped them suckers. Of course, my luck, Kentucky would lose like first round, and
that's the thing. You left holding the bag.
If they lose Friday, because they're up Friday, if they lose Friday, then it becomes the all-time buyer's market for Saturday and Sunday. We'll see. You'll see what it looks like, but it's going to be a lot of blue. I can guarantee you that in and around downtown.
Half a dozen scalpers heading for the Skyway. That's their worst nightmare. Will not go well. All right. Hey, so what's up? Obviously, franchise tag today. Scuttlebutt is Godwin's going to get it because he's not going to agree to a long-term deal. If I were him, take the money, brother. Take the money. It's on the table. Guaranteed 40, 50 million. You never know. I mean, if you're going to roll the dice, you could make more. There's no doubt. But as a receiver in this league, I'd take the money. What do you think is going to happen?
So the first thing is, aren't you working on one of us getting one of these franchise deals? How do we get one of these franchise deals where you work for 1 year and get, the top 5 average and get 15, 20 million, whatever it is?
Yeah, our union's not that good.
We don't. Yeah. Again, back to our 40 time, back to our blocking ability or lack thereof, and all the other things that Chris Godwin does. I have said this. I continue to say this as we sit here on March the 8th. They are not going to let Chris Godwin play for anybody else in 2022. Even if they have to put the franchise tag on him, that is what will happen. I'm not getting that from Jason Light and the building. I'm just telling you, they have that much belief in how important he is to them. You're not letting him walk away.
No.
He is not walking away. And to your point, why would you not take the 35 or 40 million guaranteed signing bonus right now? Sign and deposit 35, 40 million or whatever it's going to be, as opposed to running the risk that you play this year. And it's not that big of a risk because you're going to get 20 million on the second franchise tag. So risks are relative, but you you run the risk of hurting yourself again, hopefully not. And then who knows what you're going to get on the open market. You've earned this. If you're Chris Godwin, you have played for peanuts.
Yep.
Relative to his performance, JP, you know this. You've been talking about this.
Mm-hmm.
He has played for relative leftovers. I'm sitting here at the Indianapolis airport looking right at the Chick-fil-A and the McDonald's free plug. He's been playing for extra value meal money.
Yes.
He now needs to play. JP loves the what are the sponsors on the show? The restaurants. I want to make sure I get the sponsors. Give me a restaurant sponsor.
Black Rock Bar and Grill.
He wants the Black Rock Bar and Grill top of the line menu
Absolutely.
item. That's what he wants. And so go get it. Go get it right now because the Bucs want to pay it. And I don't. Why would you say no to $35-40 million in signing bonus money guaranteed delivered to you right now before you ever play it down this season? And you get to live in Florida, and you get to live where there's no state income tax, great weather, very competitive team. You've got everything you would want in this situation if you're him.
I'm looking at the top guaranteed monies over the last few contracts for wide receiver. D-Hop got 49.4. Julio Jones got 64 million guaranteed. Keenan got 50 million guaranteed. Amari Cooper 60 million guaranteed. Michael Thomas 61 million guaranteed. So Brandon Cooks 50 million guaranteed. Who did that deal? Wow. I mean, that's the kind of money he should be expecting if the Bucs are offering that, and they should. Even with the ACL, this should be 40 to 50 million guaranteed. Sign, and I said this earlier. It's the agents that's going to tell him not to sign it because they think they get more on the open market, but that they're not risking it. He is, and he needs.
Very true.
Yeah, he needs to overrule his agent and say.
And obviously, we're biased at this point, and they're going to appeal to the fact that Chris loves the team that he's been on. He loves being around Mike Evans and those kind of things, and why risk going somewhere else and being miserable if it doesn't work out? That's another point. And let's just clarify what you're talking about is with those other contracts is the overall guaranteed money in the deal. So again, back specifically to what I was saying about a minute ago, is he stands to get 30, 40, 50 million, much like JP's TV deals back in the day.
Absolutely.
30, 35 or 40 million to sign this new deal. He gets it immediately without playing a down.
Yes.
That's why there's incentive on both sides to go ahead and do this because they can then spread that salary cap money out over the life of the contract, over 6 or 7 years of the contract. That's the advantage for the Bucs, but that's also big time advantage for Chris Godwin is forget about what your guaranteed money is in 2024 or 2025. You're going to end up making 30 million, 35 million, or 40 million to sign right now. And I believe they're going to work hard, and let's see what happens before 4 o'clock. We still got a few hours to see if he decides to agree.
He made $16 million this past year on the franchise tag, so he could be banking if he took this contract. We're talking probably, add those together, you're looking at $65 million in 2 years. You take that in this climate, Dude, sign the freaking deal. Stop listening to your agent. He's just trying to get a nice little blurb on his testimonial on his page. And I don't know who his agent is, and I'm not saying this. I'm just in general, that's what all agents do. So I'm not being specific about it.
Let me tell you, we were around him a bunch, and he's not around anymore regularly, but Warren Sapp always had a classic line about this. And his line was, who works for who?
Yeah,
who works for who?
That's right.
And he was talking about Drew Rosenhaus. He goes, Drew works for me.
That's right.
Who works for who? And so at some point, Chris Godwin's got to look at this and say, okay, you've laid out the reasons not to do this, but I ultimately make the decision here on I do want to do this. And and again, I think I don't just think this. I know he loves being a Buccaneer. He loves that offensive room. He loves Bruce Arians. There's every reason to get paid a bunch and stay here. So let's see what happens. And in particular here, the team is going to be loyal and follow through, not unlike what the Cowboys did last year when Dak Prescott didn't sign the long-term deal, if you remember, and hurt himself. They followed through and signed him to a lucrative deal anyway. And the Bucs are looking at doing the same thing with a receiver that tore his ACL in the middle of the year and saying, we don't care about that. We believe you're going to fully rehab and be healthy, and we're willing to pay you humongously even off that injury. So I think there's loyalty here on both sides.
TJ Rives joining us here, Bucs sideline guy, also doing some college basketball work this weekend. There's still a lot of smoke out there about the Bucs. Pewter Report had an article. There's a couple other NFL experts saying that the Bucs are still looking at taking a big swing at a quarterback. I had someone who actually played with Russell Wilson say that he believes, without question, Russell Wilson is going to be the next quarterback here, the Buccaneers. So, I mean, this is major speculation, bro. Major speculation, but
major.
yeah.
Major.
So I don't know.
By the way, have you gotten off? You've been on with Nick, and Nick, I can't see you right now if you're rolling your eyes. Have you gotten off the whole three-way trade that involves Brady going to the 49ers and Jimmy Garoppolo going to Seattle and Russell Wilson coming here? I mean, that was like your pipe dream fantasy football GM trade.
That was a fun one.
Are you still barking up that tree?
Well,
right now, or have you moved on?
I know Brady is absolutely fixated on ruining Jimmy Garoppolo's life. Clearly, whatever he just wants to make sure that he never. That's why I told Bruce Arians, I said, Bruce, you want to get Brady back? Start talking up Jimmy G. He hates that dude.
Right.
If you start putting Jimmy G behind Ryan Jensen with his team, he'll be back here quicker than you can say TB12.
Where do I sign? Right. Where do I sign?
You got to play.
Well,
this is like a jilted girlfriend,
Wilson
man.
Thing, again, I know that we have to appreciate the fact we're on the complete opposite side of the continent. That guy is the franchise in that market. He is the Seahawks. They will erupt and tear that place apart if they trade him away, especially when the team is in dire straits in terms of talent level overall. So if you're going to do that, and to clarify again, we talked about this on your show, it is the sisters of the late Paul Allen who are the owners right now overseeing this. Are they really going to deal the franchise quarterback away for whatever they're going to get?
Yeah.
If they deal him away to whomever they're going to deal him to. I don't see them doing that.
Well,
unless it is an ultimate thing that they're trying to sell the team, but the team is less valuable without Russell Wilson.
So
we'll see.
Listen,
we'll see.
They've got to rebuild. I've heard a bunch of people say this, and I agree with these experts as well. They've got to. Dan Orlovsky was talking about it. Michael, they've got to rebuild. They've got Bobby Wagner, DJ Metcalf, and Russell Wilson. The rest is for shiz. They've drafted one Pro Bowl player in the last 58 draft picks. It's an awful roster, and they're not going anywhere with those two guys. They need to restock and probably get somebody else to draft that besides the guys that have been drafting. If I were them, as much as I love Pete Carroll and the whole thing, I'd blow it up. But that's just me. You can't stay in the middle. You know that. That mediocrity crush you in these sports, especially the NFL. They got to rebuild. If they're smart, they could get number ones for Bobby Wagner and Russell Wilson. Package those up. We'll send you Devin White, and maybe if you want Kyle Trask, we'll figure something out. I'm wheeling and dealing here. I'm wheeling and dealing, and if I'm the Bucs, I'll do anything I can to get Russell Wilson and continue this run. Otherwise, as much as I love Trask and all these other guys, I know what looking for a quarterback looks like in Buccaneer land, and it ain't fun. It ain't fun.
Agreed. I lived it as well. But
I know
the other thing you got to be concerned with is he comes at a massive price tag. And now you go back to giving Godwin all this money. You've got Mike Evans making a ton, and you've got 2 or 3 other guys that are making significant money like Donovan Smith. And now you've given a huge deal as well to Vita Vea. How do you cover all the different other needs that you have if you're going to tie that up? That's another concern as well. And you got to act quickly because all of this, the flurry of all of this is about to start here in the next 10 days.
I know. It's going to be crazy.
You got to make decisions.
I know it's going to be so much fun. Did you get any sense of who they liked at the combine, positions they like? Anybody float your boat? Are you upset about Kenny Pickett's small hands? I mean, where do you come away from the combine?
Concern me. I don't go way too much heavily into that. I've always thought this is overrated. By the way, speaking of Sapp, we go all the way back to his draft in 1995 when the Philadelphia Eagles very famously talked themselves into Mike Mamula. Remember that?
Yes.
Because Mike Mamula worked out in his workout shirt and shorts at this combine in Indianapolis with the bench press and his vertical leap and all the metrics that he showed off back 25, 27 years ago. They talked themselves right out of Warren Sapp, who's in the Hall of Fame.
Thank God.
By doing that. So a lot of this is overrated. At the combine and how guys look. Clearly the Buccaneers are going to look for secondary help, especially defensive back help, especially if you can't keep Carlton Davis.
Right.
They're going to obviously look at potential offensive linemen. You're going to have to, depending on who you can keep, with the retirement of Ali Marpet. And with Ryan Jensen and Alex Kappa free agents, you're going to probably, Robert Hansey is going to probably slide in maybe. if you need him.
Yep.
And Stanley's going to have to slide, but you're going to have to look at an offensive lineman, and you have to look at tight end, depending on if Gronkowski retires.
Right.
Those are the things on the TJ wish list here that they probably have been looking at strongly. And I have tremendous faith in Jason Light and what he has built through these drafts, finding guys like Chris Godwin, finding guys like Carlton Davis beyond the first round to help this football team. Ali Marpet beyond the first round, Donovan Smith beyond the first round. So I trust these guys with what they're up to try to restock the Buccaneer roster with two. If you can get 2 or 3 players out of this draft that can ultimately help you over the next 2 or 3 years, that's your goal.
Yeah,
Taking down near the bottom of the first and the second round, but that's what you got to try to do.
Yep. TJ Rives joining us here. So March Madness is upon us. You're doing the Horizon League tonight. You got the Conference USA, the soon-to-be destroyed Conference USA.
There's no confirmation that it is the Conference USA Exodus tournament. It is not titled that. It is going to be on Saturday. It is Saturday night's championship game. But 6 of the schools, 6, not 1 or 2, 6 of them are leaving for the American Conference to join the USF Bulls and Memphis and all the American teams that are remaining, SMU, Temple, all of those. 3 other Conference USA schools are looking to leave immediately. One of them, Marshall, is suing the conference to try to leave immediately and go to the Sun Belt Conference to play football and an upgrade there. They have 9 schools, JP, that are departing. Wow. So this is the end of the line. You talk about the last dance, the end of the line for the current form of Conference USA. But we will be there for the championship game and an automatic bid Saturday night when the frenzy is going on. Saturday night of all the automatic bids flying for the Big East and the ACC and the Big 12 and the Pac-12. I will be in Frisco, Texas at the home of the Cowboys. I'll try to get some intel on the Cowboys while I'm at it, too.
Nobody cares.
For the Conference USA title game Saturday night, brother.
Nobody cares because it's the Cowboys. I mean,
the Cowboys could be cutting Amari Cooper any time now and take the cap hit, and then Amari Cooper's available. And that'll be an interesting name that'll be out there.
And all these tight ends just got franchised, too. Dalton Schultz got franchised, and Njoku got franchised, Gesicki got franchised, so – wow. That just brought Gronk's value up tremendously. So if he's thinking about coming back.
And that's, I know you got to go here in a second. That's another great unknown.
Yeah.
Is he going to continue to play? And I keep saying to everybody privately, and I will say it here on the FanStream JP show, if he's retiring, why is he not retired?
Right.
It's March the 8th. If he's retiring, why is he not retired?
He's waiting to see where Brady plays.
That's correct.
Tampa?
And
is it going to be San Francisco?
If it's not Tom Brady. Exactly.
Russell Wilson.
Well, we'll see.
Somebody who played with him told me that. So I'm going with that.
Forgive me on the airport announcement over me. It's not for me. If you have spoken that Russell Wilson move into existence, I will bow to you yet again for about the 83rd time that I will bow to you. If you speak that into existence and that one happens. Let's see what happens.
We shall see. All right, partner. Always great stuff. Tell everybody how they can get your content, the 3 Dog Thursday, all the other good stuff you're doing.
So that podcast is out talking tons of college basketball. 3 Dog Thursday, appropriately enough, out on Thursdays. Again, the Conference USA, or actually tonight, the Horizon League Championship game. I'm in Indianapolis. That is Northern Kentucky against Wright State tonight. Ooh. Winner goes to the big dance. Winner is likely a 16 seed. So hello, Gonzaga. Hello, Duke. Hello, Big Ten champion, whether that's Purdue or whomever that is. Hello, maybe Kentucky. So the team that wins this thing tonight is likely in the way of a Godzilla come Selection Sunday night. So we're broadcasting that game live tonight on TuneIn. You hear it for free on the TuneIn mobile app, tunein.com, on the College Basketball Coast to Coast channel. I will broadcast that game live tonight at 7 Eastern, same channel, Conference USA title game for the automatic bid coming up on Saturday night. And in and around that, I'll be back in Tampa in between trying to get to some of those SEC tournament games. And, of course, the SEC tournament title game is Sunday. And we cannot convey enough, JP, that if Kentucky is rolling on Friday into Saturday, it will be electric in and around downtown Tampa and in that building, including probably 10,000 Kentucky fans that are trying to get their hands on tickets outside the arena that don't have their game tickets. So we look forward to all of that, brother.
Hey, breaking news. The Packers and Aaron Rodgers agree to terms on a 4-year, $200 million contract.
Okay, so here's my question as you tell me that before I depart. What are they giving to Devontae Adams? Because you know he didn't agree to that without Devontae Adams also being signed up, and now they have
they can franchise
those two guys making like all of their salary cap, right? That would theoretically, God almighty.
Where's Preston Smith going to get paid, you know?
I guess Aaron Rodgers was all about getting the best deal he could out of the Packers over the last half of me.
Got it. Well
That's
done.
the case.
All right, Russell Wilson, you're up. All right, partner, good stuff. We will. He's going to get a new deal, I guess, right on top of this one. We'll chat with you next week. Have fun at the in Indianapolis there. Woohoo! Go to the beach.
Always good to be with you.
All right.
March Madness here, and let's see what the Bucs do with Chris Godwin. I'm anxious like everybody else. I'll be checking my phone every 15 minutes this afternoon to see if it's a long-term deal, and I think it will be. Good to be with you, JP.
I think he's going to take the money. All right, thanks, buddy. The great TJ Rives. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back, and we will discuss this new deal. 4 years, $200 million contract for Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. You don't have a quarterback, you ain't got nothing. Well, you don't have a quarterback, not much else. Next. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship is back in March in 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year and the last stop on the Florida swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course in Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth. Wow, the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com. Well, it's never been more important to support each other and support local businesses like Italiano Insurance that has been around for over 60 years, serving our community with great customer service and also giving back to our locals in need. Their Metropolitan Ministries Holiday Food Drive was another tremendous success this year. Why call a 1-800 number when you can call your trusted neighbors at Italiano Insurance who will save you money? In Boca Grande, 941-964-0400. That's 941-964-0400.
Cryptocurrency is all the rage today. The market cap for the industry is now over $1 trillion. And you read about people making millions of dollars, right? You want to get in, but have no idea what to do? Maybe you dabbled a bit and you want to unlock the real money-making opportunities and don't know how to do it. There are over 10,000 tokens and thousands of decentralized finance exchanges to navigate. So what do? You go to DeFiLava.com. The folks at DeFiLava.com are in Tampa Bay, and they work with you directly to set up custom accounts, answer all your questions, and provide market analysis. Decentralized finance and cryptocurrencies are here to stay and will change the financial markets as we know them. Get in the game. Get with the experts at DeFiLava.com and tell them JP sent you and get their free 2022 crypto market forecast today at DeFiLava.com. Don't get left behind, folks. Make some money at DeFiLava.com.
Pure sports. Pete, back on. Welcome back. Fan Stream Sports.
All right, welcome back. We are brought to you in our second hour by Bay Area Modern Medical Center. If you're looking for a new doctor to direct your health choices, highly recommend Christopher Lugo and his medical team at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. It's not the old one pill fits all strategy, come in, get a script when you're sick. Nope. They look at your total health profile, what you're eating, the supplements you're taking, how much you're exercising, your sleep, everything to make sure that you're optimally healthy. And that is a very, very new approach. And especially in this day and age when, pandemics are going to be coming regularly, according to some people, you got to be in great shape, fight it off, get your immune system as built up as possible. And Bay Area Modern Medical Center can help you do that. You need testosterone replacement. They're experts at that as well. So go check them out. They are taking new patients. BAMMC. Do a change. Why do the same doctor? Maybe you're just not that healthy. Maybe they just don't care. Maybe they see you for about 5 minutes and that's about it. Change it up. You got options. They take most major medical health insurance. So BAMMC.com. Please tell them JP sent you. That's Bay Area Modern Medical Center on Henderson in South Tampa. All right, so that is the breaking news. Nick Gaddis, do we have any more? According to Pat McAfee, the deal is done. In the NFL Network reporting it's 4 years, $200 million, the highest paid player in NFL history.
Yeah, 4 years, $2 million is what Ian Rappaport has reported, but McAfee has said that, according to his source, that's not accurate. But I have to believe it's in that vicinity. The Packers yesterday said they had a deal that was going to alter the quarterback market, and that certainly does if it's $50 million. I mean, this is about he's set to make, I think, $17 million more now this year annually than he would last year. So it's a big step up. Like we kind of discussed a little bit yesterday, where does this leave the Packers? They're going to probably franchise tag Devontae Adams later today and try to get a work out a long-term deal with him. If you recall yesterday, the cap went up. We have the official cap number, which I think was at 205.
Yeah.
So it went up $25 million. So that'll help them.
I was expecting this. I've been talking about this for a while. People are saying, no, it's going to stay steady. I'm like, how can it stay steady?
It had to go up.
The new TV deal's kicking in.
Yeah, in the COVID year, it had to go up.
Yeah.
But I mean, people are right now, I see here, okay, Rams, Packers now. That's the favorites. I mean, who else are the Packers bringing back now after I mean, getting back Rodgers and Devontae Adams is huge, but I mean, I don't know how you can win with a quarterback taking up that much of the cap.
It's hard. It hasn't been done in a long, long time. I'm trying to remember how much Matthew Stafford was getting. His contract was pretty
29.
big, 29
mil, which for a quarterback of his caliber, it's kind of a steal.
Yeah, well, and when you're talking about $50 million now is the going rate for a franchise quarterback.
The 40 to 50 is where the great ones are right now.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If the Bucs are eventually trading for Russell Wilson, he's going to want a new deal as part of that. So now the bar has been set. Yikes.
Well, if that's the case, I'm passing.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, but where are you with Blaine Gabbert and Kyle Trask? You ain't winning a Super Bowl, man.
I know that, but like I said,
here's the thing about the quarterbacks, man. It's like, yes, you don't have the money to pay everybody else. Although I think Russell Wilson, if you traded for him this year, his contract would probably stay, and you'd work something. Yeah. The agreement. The new contract would hit down the road. So you have time to worry about it. I still think they could bring back a majority of their guys. I still think they could bring back, if they wanted to, CD3, Kappa, Stinney. I don't know about Ryan Jensen. He seems on, but if Hainsey comes back, I mean, I see you could still bring back a lot of the guys that you need to bring back. I mean, does Gronk come back if Russell Wilson's the quarterback? If he knows Brady's not going to play? I think there's a possibility. There's a much better possibility than Gabbert or Trask. No disrespect intended.
No, I've
but
told you.
You're immediately it's like, there may be some issues up front, but Russell Wilson had the second best offense efficiency with the crappiest offensive line in football last year. So while he was playing, he had the second most yards per play.
Did they win many games?
No, they didn't. But they didn't have a defense like the Bucs.
Listen, I told you that I was not for the whole Blaine Gabbert option, and any Bucs fan that was going to try to just sucker themselves in and say we can win the division with Blaine Gabbert, I thought was just lunacy.
Well, maybe the division because it's a little
I thought that was lunacy. But as I've said before, now Ali Marpet's retirement changes everything.
It does.
It really does, and I just see.
Well, it does, and it does. Like I don't want to be crazy about this. I mean, Ali Marpet was a really good guard. He was a really good guard. And with Tom Brady, you needed that stout front because he wasn't escaping. With Russell Wilson, you don't need an all-pro left guard.
I disagree.
When you got two good tackles, you re-signed Kappa, Hainsey, they like him. They think he's going to be a good center. You don't have to have top three offensive line when you have Russell Wilson.
He's been playing with disarray on the offensive line for years.
Right.
And every year Seattle's got – okay, my point is every year Seattle's gotten steadily worse. It's become harder and harder for Russell Wilson to operate in the offense. True. I don't see how much.
But their defense has also sucked as well. It's not just Russell Wilson that's causing them to lose games.
That's fair. Yeah. I don't think you can just expect him to come here and make it work with. He's done it for years. But as he gets older, if you're signing a long-term commitment to him, I want him staying in the pocket more.
It's not like nobody's going to be playing left guard. I mean, we're going to get a left guard.
It's not going to be Ali Marpet, though.
Okay, but it's not going to be me.
It's a big difference. You saw those offensive lines for the Bucs 4 or 5 years ago.
I understand, but the alternative is Kyle Trask. Or Blaine Gabbert.
And I'm telling you,
I'll take a 75% of Nick of an Ali Marpet at left guard if I get a Russell Wilson over a Blaine Gabbert or Kyle Trask. He elevates my entire team so much more than just a left guard, with all due respect.
And I'm telling you, rather than commit all that money to a quarterback with a roster that I don't think the way it's going to be constructed can win you a Super Bowl, even with a Russell Wilson there, I'd rather see what I have in Kyle Trask. I'd rather just go to that point right now.
No, not if I can get Russell Wilson. No,
I just wouldn't give up all that capital right now.
For the 27th pick, what are you going to get? The 28th pick next year, the 30th the year after. What are you going to get?
Are you assuming the Bucs are going to be in that? Are you going to be there every single
Russell
year?
Wilson's my quarterback, and I got Chris Godwin and Mike Evans.
I don't think you can guarantee that.
Leonard Fournette, a good defense.
I don't think you can guarantee that.
Look, there are no guarantees in this league, by the way. I'm just putting together the best team I can possibly put together, and I'm tired of chasing quarterbacks. I think trying to keep hitting and missing and hitting and missing and hitting and missing takes. We saw what that's like. I don't care if I can get Russell Wilson to come here right now, and it's not even he wants to. If he has to come to the East Coast, he wants to play with the Bucs. There's so many ifs, ands, or buts. But I know what chasing a quarterback looks like, and it's ugly.
I know,
and it's ugly.
I know, and I'm saying that I want to do a Kyle Trask, but clearly the Packers going all in on Aaron Rodgers shows you it doesn't matter where you take the quarterback, because Jordan Love looks like the most worthless pick in the history of picks right now. Okay. I know they made Rodgers wait 4 years, but that was an awful pick.
Terrible.
Can we just admit it now?
Terrible.
Whose
ever idea that was.
You thought Aaron Rodgers was washed because he had one down year that was still a top 5 year for anybody else's standards.
I still think it was a personality thing more than anything. But hey, we'll see. We'll see how they go forward. So Rodgers' deal is done. He's staying in Green Bay. So what other the
quarterback news is flying though.
I know.
This probably is like this doesn't seem that significant, but maybe it is. But Kyler Murray's Instagram photos are back.
He's back with the Cardinals?
They're back on his Instagram, all his ones with the Cardinals, yes. It looks like he didn't outright delete them. He just shoved them to the draft section or whatever on Instagram.
So now they're back. So it was a quick fix. It was a quick fix.
Who knows? See, I see Pat McAfee right here in the comment section of Rappaport saying this is false about the 4-year, $200 million. 200 million, yeah. So,
well, here, you know what's going on there. So Rodgers doesn't want to be perceived as taking up all the money, and so they can't sign anybody else. That's what, and so he's fighting back on that. And if it's 4 years, 200, and the agents probably, this is where the agents come in. The agents probably putting out their 200 million. He's the highest paid player ever. When actually it's probably a 7 to 8 year deal, so they can spread out the hit. And what Pat McAfee is referring to is probably how, it's only going to count 25 million against the cap because they're spreading it out, right? That's what he's talking about. Whereas 4 year, 200 million is probably the gut of the deal. So they're probably talking about two different things, but McAfee's trying to sell it as, he's not taking up all the money, and he's not. They're going to be able to spread that out. And I don't think Rodgers is stupid enough to take up that much cap room and not be able to, be able to spread it out. Now they're going to have to pay the piper down the road eventually, but that's what you have to do to win a Super Bowl these days. I mean, that has become the template. You got to go all in, knowing full well that you're going to take a hit down the road.
Yeah, I will say though, Aaron Rodgers, as much as this saga, this drama, whatever you want to call it, was exhausting to talk about, and I just wanted something to end already. Kind of how like the whole Dak Prescott thing was the year before.
God, yes.
Talking about contracts is exhausting.
I hate it.
It really is, but Aaron Rodgers has once again set a precedent that if you are an elite player at your position and at a premium, you can hold out like a mother, man, and you'll get what you want. I mean, kudos to him. He got his bag, 4 years, so it takes him to his age 42 season. So the new wave is officially here that Brady started. Yeah, playing into your 40s.
Yep, no question about it. We shall see. And today is going to be, we're going to see a lot of different things go down. And we don't know what the perception is on all these players. Are there a lot of Buccaneer players that are just like, I got to get the hell out of here? Will there be a mass exodus in free agency? That wouldn't shock me, and I would like to know why personally. But you kind of sense that a lot of these guys want to move on. How much of that was, the quote turmoil Levante was talking about? How much was AB getting in these guys' ears saying, you don't want to play for that guy, or you don't want to play for that organization, blah, 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 blah. Come play for me. I'm going to be part owner of the Denver Broncos.
Oh, come on.
If you haven't heard that, folks, that's the scuttlebutt that Kanye who is reportedly worth $6.6 billion. Is that true?
I mean, you have a source on that.
I got a very good source on that. Someone who knows, yes, very much about money and those folks. Yes, $6.6 billion. AB. I mean, what is AB going to be the general manager? But he can run the football operations.
He might be better than John Elway at finding a quarterback.
Yeah,
maybe.
right. Here's the funny part about it is that the NFL is going to be under tremendous pressure. One of these teams that are up for sale, the Broncos are up for sale, right? We're not sure if the Seahawks are up for sale yet. They might be. There might be some teams changing hands in the next few years, and there'll be a lot of pressure to get a minority owner. I guess Shad Khan is considered a minority owner. I guess
he's a shitty one.
Yeah,
so.
Terrible. Absolutely. But I hate the whole classification of people anyway. But this is coming, and wouldn't it be interesting if Kanye? Is he still wearing that thing on his face?
I get it. I mean, it's his new thing. I mean, geez, he hit 40 years old and has just gone off the deep end. He really has.
Does he feel like he's not attractive anymore? He's got to wear that on a bag on his head? Doesn't matter, bro. You got a bag in your pocket. You don't need, doesn't matter what you look like if you haven't figured that out yet. And I'm sure he has. So come on. Would that just not be great? I mean, do you think how it's going to go down at the owners' meetings? It'd be a whole new deal. But those white racist owners ain't gonna let him in the club. That ain't happening. All right. So any other breaking news? You have that story up there about the USF. They have now picked a spot for their new stadium.
Yeah, I was trying to read up on it.
This is happening.
It's been kind of going through our show. I think they've had like a lot of press conferences today.
Yeah.
It looks like they're getting a lot of pretty significant donations to go towards the stadium. And Michael Kelly says what did he say here? He's highly confident it's going to happen. So it sounds like it's full.
Where's it going to be?
Go. Near the current practice fields. They're on USF's campus.
Okay. Yeah, right near where. Yeah, that makes sense.
And there's some points here being made. Like USF trustee Les Muma said that one of the big things is that now when you turn on a USF game, the telecast won't have to constantly be talking about the Bucs because they're playing in that stadium, and that's a thing for that. It's all about the Bulls.
Well, the signage, they own everything. They own the parking, they own the concessions, they own everything, and it can be a multi-purpose stadium for all. They can play their big soccer games in there. But there's a lot of different things that they could use it for. It ain't my money. I think it's a bit of a waste of overall money, but it's not mine. They got the money to build it. Will it improve their attendance? I don't know. I think it will. I think just having it on campus is a different vibe. I mean, I think Central Florida has proved that. I mean, they put up the shittiest stadium in the world and they filled that thing. So, I mean, it does matter. And I think UCF was a little bit of a different deal because where they were playing was downtown, so far away from their campus. I mean, that's like a 30, 40-minute drive where we're talking about, for USF, it's like 15 minutes, but whatever.
I think it's more about, too, like getting that on-campus stadium. I think that puts them in play for the next round of expansion.
Yes,
absolutely,
100%.
I mean, it really needed. That's why UAB went out and got their own because they want to make a step up.
No, I agree. I think that's a big part of it. No question about it. All right, and any other
in this flurry?
Von Miller,
tweeting
out he wants to go back to Denver. Got his little mercenary ring.
Kind of a flex. Here's my ring, boys.
Yeah,
come back.
And then come back. Yeah, whatever. Maybe he's in play for a few other teams as well. You don't know. But he's going to drive up that price tag. Absolutely. I mean, he definitely stepped up. What else? Anything else that we missed today?
And the flurry of news that's gone on, I think that is it at the moment. Okay. I am enjoying all the networks that are citing that the NFL Network broke this news about Aaron Rodgers, and Pat McAfee is
getting the shaft.
He's setting everybody straight, including ESPN, that did not cite him.
Yeah.
So
you're barking up the wrong tree, bro. That's you did it. You were first. Everybody knows it, but you're not going to get any of that credit. Trust me, I know how that works. And Major League Baseball is still on strike, so screw all those people. Don't even care. It's just ridiculous what they're arguing about. It's just meet in the middle and let's get it going. But again, this is not about we all can look at that and say, duh. But this is what the owners are doing. They're screwing the players over. They don't make as much money in April. It's their worth profit month because, there's a lot of games that are postponed up north. The kids aren't out of school yet. So their owners didn't want to play till May anyway. So they're very deceitful, and the players are going to get shafted again.
But that's the way it works. Rich guys make the rules. Figure that out. All right. Big thanks to Scott Reynolds. Joined us in a fascinating conversation on the franchise tag and quarterback situation. Check that out if you missed it. Jackson Super joined us from Ole Miss Golf. Going to get a Valspar sponsors exam next week, so we'll be talking about him. Local kid to follow, going to be fun. TJ Rives, always fun to chat with him. And so great show today. Great job, Nick. We will be back tomorrow with more fun and frivolity. We will see you then. Have a great day, everybody.